Lientje Schueler will be conducting the masterclass this evening at the Queensland Dressage Festival. Lientje, would you like to tell me about your early days riding and growing up in Germany and where your riding went from there?
Sure. I grew up in northern Germany, and my parents own an old farmhouse with some land, and my grandfather kept his horses at their property. So I was exposed to horses from very early on and developed a love for it right from childhood on. My mom, when I was 8, a lot of kids in Germany show very early on. When I was 8, my mom said 2 horse shows a year, and I was terribly disappointed in that because everyone else was showing a lot more than that. But at the end of the day, I think it's what kept me with it. A lot of the kids I rode with at that time, they have nothing to do with horses anymore. I still love it. When I was 12, I spent a holiday at my trainer's place at the time and came back home and said, I will be a horse trainer one day, and that's what it is now. I knew that very early on.
And Lientje, you then went to America for a short time to work?
Yes, I did. Originally, I came to California to take a year off of school just to ride. That was when I was 15. And that year turned into 12 years.
And you're now working with Stefan Peters. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I've been working for Shannon and Steffen Peters for the last 7 years. And it's been great. It's still as great as it was in the beginning. Started out as a working student, said I was willing to do whatever it takes. Did a lot of laundry and cutting flowers in the beginning. Always watching Shannon and Steffen, trying to get something out of that. Was able to then groom for Steffen, travel with him to World Equestrian Games, lots of big shows. It was fantastic. Lots to learn there, again, just from watching. I think you can learn a lot. And then started riding more and more, teaching my own clients, developing my own training horses, and it's been great, yeah.
And you rode a horse called Melanda for some time, and he was described as being mentally difficult. Could you explain to us in what way he was difficult, and also whether you felt that a female rider was better for him?
Yes, so Melanda was trained by Steffen, and I was very fortunate that the owner, Lila Kommerstad, and Stefan Peters both gave me that opportunity to ride and compete this horse. Melanda was difficult in the sense that he was very, very hot horse, so overflow of energy being there, way too much energy. And Steffen had developed this technique with him of that you could not warm him up, because he was a horse that the more you rode him, the hotter he got. Now lots of people try to tire those horses out by working them a lot, way too much. And I thought it was actually quite clever of Steffen to take a different approach and to really recognize that pattern that, wait a minute, this horse gets hotter the longer he works. So Steffen had developed a technique of out of the stall, hand walk the horse over to the ring, hop on and go. Now I was a little bit nervous to do that the first few times because I had not that much experience in showing a horse like that at all. And there I was given this amazing opportunity, but I couldn't warm the horse up. So that was very challenging. I learned a lot from that, more than I could ever replace with anything else. But I don't think at all that it has anything to do with a female rider or a male rider. I think it very simply comes down to good riding, classical riding, finding out what it is that horse needs and improving yourself as a rider. I think it has nothing to do with strength or intuition from a female being better than a male. I think both sides can have a lot of intuition and both sides can have strengths and weaknesses, and I think that's what it comes down to.
And Lientje, you also have a passion for riding young horses, it seems, and you've been very successful showing them.
Yes, I do. I find it very challenging and very rewarding to bring a young horse up through the levels and to really truly teach it and train it and bring out the strengths in each horse and maybe smooth out the weaknesses, but to really give a horse that confidence to say, hey, you can do this with me, it's great for me. I like it.
And Regalo?
Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful 5-year-old that I've had for a year now. I've competed him as a 4-year-old. He finished third at the national championships last year. This year, he is the #1 ranked 5-year-old in the States right now, and we still have our national championships to come, but his work ethic is just amazing. His temperament is a 10. If there was an 11, I would give it that. Just a very smart, sensible horse, and that's really what makes him so fun. Yes, his gaits are great, but really his work ethic and his temperament is just what really does it for me, and I have a very special connection to that horse.
And could you tell us what you will be doing with the riders, what you would like to concentrate on in the masterclass this evening?
Yes, tonight I'd really like to focus on the idea that there are certain skills that every rider of every level, and regardless of the horse's training stage, really needs to watch out for. So there was the training scale, which has probably been a topic that's been used a lot, but along with that, really the focus that it takes as a rider, and that you constantly have to ask yourself what it is you are after while you're on the horse. You have to ask yourself very simple questions. How's the contact? How's the tempo? Is my horse truly supple enough? Did I get a response? That seem to be very basic and simple things, yet they're very hard to remember every day, and it takes a lot of discipline as a rider to make yourself do those things. So that will be the main focus tonight.